In just about 30 minutes, the Arizona rancher accused of murdering an undocumented immigrant is set to appear in court. Prosecutors say George Allan Kelly shot a migrant man in the back as he was running away. Kelly's lawyer maintains he only fired warning shots near a group of migrants that were moving through his property on the border. NewsNation's Ali Bradley is outside the Santa Cruz County Courthouse now with what we are expecting today. Ali?
Yeah, hi, Brooke. So this is the fourth motions hearing that has taken place in the case against Arizona rancher George Allan Kelly. And the state's case seems to be kind of falling apart from where it was back in February during that preliminary hearing. Prosecutors have already dismissed some assault charges against George Allan Kelly because they can't locate one of the witnesses who's over in Mexico. Now, the state is actually considering dismissing additional charges because one of their other key witnesses is now reluctant to testify. Now, this key witness in this case actually testified back in February that he had never been convicted of bringing drugs into the United States. However, the defense brought forth evidence that countered that said, no, he committed perjury in that testimony and actually was convicted in 2015 of smuggling marijuana into the U.S. and served 7 months in prison for that infraction. Now, the state also wanted to have George Allan Kelly's text messages admitted to the court, where the state compared him to the Unabomber. Some of those text messages between George Allan Kelly and another individual suggested that George Allan Kelly had, quote, put 27 migrants in the ground who were growing daisies. Well, the judge actually declined to have those text messages admitted. So that's one more thing against the state that they won't have backing them in this case here. Now, at this point, there's no bullet. There's no active witness testifying because, again, the other key witness that they have, he's reluctant to testify right now, Brooke. So what we're dealing with today is the state might actually dismiss charges against George Allan Kelly because they don't have a lot of substantial evidence here. Again, there's no bullet. And without witnesses, they don't have as strong of a case. So they're looking at potentially temporarily dismissing these charges to get some things back in order. But what we're expecting here in about a half hour, George Allan Kelly will be back in that courtroom, and we're actually going to hear from about 12 different motions that they're going to be going through, and that does include if DRR, that witness that's reluctant to testify, if his previous conviction can be admitted in court. So a lot of moving parts here, Brooke, that we've got to get through today.
Yeah, and on top of that, Ali, I've heard you've gotten a look at some of the questions for potential jurors. If this does move forward, talk to us about jury selection. What could it look like?
Yeah, so jury selection is slated for the 6th right now. And some of the questions on that questionnaire include if they think that the law applies to somebody that's over 70 differently, if that law would apply to George Allan Kelly in a different manner. Now, it also looks at if those people have any family members who own firearms. It also looks at if those jurors would potentially have any kind of family member who might have crossed into the United States illegally. George Allan Kelly's right here. Actually, Mr. Kelly, we know that they're considering dismissing additional charges against you. What might that mean for your case, and what are you hoping for today?
I don't know what it means, and I'm just hoping.
You're just hopeful. Just hopeful. You told me when you called authorities that day to report that someone had been shot on your property that you thought you were doing the right thing. Do you still maintain that you did the right thing in calling authorities when this happened?
I maintain I've done the right thing throughout. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So George Allan Kelly walking into court right now will, of course, be in the courtroom to hear more from additional witnesses and to hear what the judge decides to do here, Brooke.
Yeah, incredible reporting there, Ali, grabbing him as he's walking into court. Like you said, you'll be in there. Please keep us posted as the day goes on. Ali Bradley, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.